All right, welcome to week two Pioneer Masters League feature matches. We've got our pretty much our GOAT feature match player here, Caleb G, with 21 wins and only 6 losses playing in feature matches, up against Miguel B. And we've got Thomas here on commentary looking at from Miguel's point of view. How's it going?
Hello, I'm doing good.
Great. So what's Miguel holding over there to start the game?
He seems to be mostly boiled. He's got an island in hand, but he seems to have a pretty fast start.
Okay, so Caleb's going to be probably leaning heavily on this Gates Ablaze that he has in hand to do some work here.
Ooh.
So he's running all the colors, seemingly, or close to them. In hand, he's got Gust of Wind, he's got Prison Realm, he's got Gates Ablaze, and he's got from Strixhaven Creative Outburst with a mana cost of 3 blue, blue, red, red. So
What does this card do?
I believe it's 5 damage to any target, and then you basically get to draw a card. I think you like get to impulse, look at the top,
I
pick
see.
some number, and put one in your hand. You could also discard it for to make a treasure for 2 mana.
I feel like I remember seeing like that one deck that casts. What was the thing that discovers the thing in Lost Canvas that like discovers three or whatever? It was used to just play that a turn earlier or something, or maybe it was a different card. I
Oh, could
remember
be,
seeing.
could be. But what else does Miguel got going on in hand here?
Well, he's got a combat trick
Yeah,
to win this.
I think Caleb is fine. I think Caleb's like, let me make him use this the trick here. I'm just gonna try and wipe away a bunch of stuff with Gates Ablaze. And notably, that did eat up basically his whole turn here.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't the most. It was a pretty expensive combat trick.
Yeah, I mean, it replaced itself with an environmental science, but I'm sure he would have preferred to play a 1 mana combat trick and advance his board. So what else has he got going on in hand here?
So he's got a combat professor. I forget what this card does. Hang on, sorry. Let me. I see. Okay. Yeah. He's thinking about whether he wants to play like the environmental sciences and the his hero of sorry.
Aurorus?
Yeah,
Yeah.
hero of Aurorus, or if he wants to play as combat professor.
Okay, combat professor is a pretty good one. It's okay. Looks like he's going to do the environmental sciences just set up for future turns. Yeah, combat professor, kind of reminiscent to the most valuable slayer from Duskborn. Actually, plays quite similarly. So yeah, Caleb just looking to preserve his life total. He's going to bounce this here. Not like the most efficient thing to do, but better than taking damage. And he's drawn Gideon,
Yeah.
ally of Zendikar, which he does still require another white mana to cast. So,
He's got this. He's got this martial glory in hand, which will let him trigger all this stuff.
oh, okay. All right, so he's drawn a swamp, which does not progress him in casting his some of his more demanding mana costs, but he can just Gates Ablaze here. He could potentially wait for Miguel to go a little bit wider before casting Gates Ablaze, but if he's afraid of taking more damage, he can just play that here. But he doesn't really have any other plays. He can play Artisan of Forms, which is that 1/1 that can turn into something else when you target it.
He's got three gates. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so I think he said I can take a little bit of damage this turn, and then next turn I'll maybe come down with this Gates Ablaze. He said I want to get
Yeah.
the
It's not like.
max. I want to get the max value out of this. My opponent still has cards in hand. Like if Miguel's
Yeah.
hand was like next to empty, Caleb would probably just be like, okay, I'll wipe this away, and it'll take him a while to play more stuff. But with a pretty full hand on Miguel's part, Caleb is gonna try and get him to play
Yeah.
hopefully one or two more creatures now.
He's got three lands in hand. He doesn't have much left
Yeah,
here.
Caleb doesn't know that though.
Yeah.
What's his other spell here other than the hero?
The martial glory.
Okay, so Martial Glory can keep one creature out of
Yeah.
Gates of Blaze range. So hidden among all these gates is actually not a gate, the Lorehold campus. So he actually only has 2 gates in play.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh, I see. So, oh, oh yeah, that's okay.
but he has drawn a Blood Baron of Viscopa here, which he scried to the top with his Laurel Campus. So Miguel's going to need some red removal to get through this, because otherwise, this may swing the game nicely here. Yeah, so this card has protection from basically, half of Miguel's deck, give or take,
Mhm.
which you never like to see if you're Miguel.
Does does he feel he needs to block this? Oh, okay.
Yeah, so this is going to be a 2 for 1, but I mean, well, he'll have a 1/1 left over, so yeah, he gets a 1/1. He gets a counter on his hero, so it's not all for naught here, but yeah, sometimes when you have a card that strong, you just have to bite the bullet. And another big scary mythic card off the top here for Caleb, God Eternal Bontu from War of the Spark. It's a 5/6 menace, and when it enters, you could sack any other permanents and draw that many cards. I think he's gonna keep his permanents. Maybe sacrifice 1 land, but and this has this extremely irritating text of when it dies or would be exiled from the battlefield, it'll go third from the top in your deck instead. All right, so he did sack 2 lands here, perhaps digging for some more gates. Just 1 gate will be quite enough
Yeah,
here.
Miguel drew Linvala the Preserver, which doesn't get its effects, but it's still pretty big.
Wow, this is the worst Shivan Dragon I've ever seen. It's 6 mana 5/5 with no other text other than it kills the opponent. All right, so Hall of Oracles, the land here, not much help. Looks like I think this game is going to be ending, you know, in the next couple turns.
Yeah, just hit him with the flyers, and if you can't kill anything, then I guess that's it.
Yeah, if he wouldn't have sacked his lands before, he would have been able to play Creative Outburst and deal 5 damage to the Linvala and have a few turns still. But having sacked his lands, it's going to be that's not really an option anymore. I think he sacked his lands hoping to find like a gate or two so he could wipe away the problematic
That's
creatures. But now
oh, kill it
Linvala
too good.
is here. Yeah, so he could have played like Gideon, Ally of Zendikar, or Artisan of Forms, but I think he's just figuring I don't think I'm going to win this, so I don't need to show my opponent
Yeah,
anything.
stuck at 2 gates. At least we had 3 gates. Could have done something, but
Yeah, the deceptive non-gate dual land there. Yeah, so Caleb is pretty solidly 5 colors
let's see
here.
what's this.
But it looks like he's going to be doing some heavy sideboard here. He's taking out a lot of cards, so he may be cutting down on colors. He may just be uh,
Miguel
protecting a
seems
new
to
deck.
be. Yeah, Miguel's just red white, except for I think just the Teferi Time Raveler.
Okay,
I
that's like
think that's it.
yeah, that's not a card that would like strike me immediately as a card I'd want to splash. But when you're an aggro deck and you have the text on your planeswalker, your opponent can't cast spells basically during your turn. Like that goes a long way.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't feel like it's worth it, but
Yeah,
well,
I'm my standards for splashing are very high, but the card is it has a pedigree of being a good card. It has that
same.
it has that added
Yeah,
text. It has that added text of being able to protect your stuff during your turn by your opponent not being able to cast spells. But yeah, it's not exactly what I want in my hand if I'm trying to curve out and beat my opponent senseless. It looks like Caleb's sliding into a white black deck here, splashing for Fable of the Mirror Breaker. So Wow, Caleb's got a lot of powerful cards. They just happen to be across many colors. But I think he's identified the need to present a more coherent strategy here against the aggro deck. He just, yeah, his 5 color deck wasn't really what he wanted. And he's got a lot of Orzhov gold cards, and yeah, it looks like he came more or less ready here. Both of these players have a bunch of packs to work with. Caleb's at 4 and 5, and Miguel is at 2 and 5. So they're both off to a bit of a slow start this league, but do have a lot of packs to work with to build their decks.
What did
Eh,
they pick for the loyalty abilities? I don't know if there's a good way to see that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure which direction they went. I know Caleb has quite a lot of offset cards here, like a lot of. I see Strixhaven. I see even a couple of Kamigawa cards that he was able to get this week,
Yeah, that's
including
the
Strixhaven.
-4, right?
Must be, yeah. And yeah, yeah, he has a lot of cards that he picked up from these other sets. Yeah, so he's now just deciding on his cuts here, but he's gone with just a straight up black white deck splashing for Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Any changes on Miguel's part?
No, no, no.
Yeah,
Just
he said it worked. I'm happy. When your opponent's playing a bunch of tap lands and has a bunch of cards in their hand that they can't cast, that's where your aggro deck is wants to. Your aggro deck wants to
also,
be facing those decks, but Caleb will be presenting something a little more coherent here.
I was gonna say, like, also, I feel like at least like early in leagues, I've been like, well, I like barely want to play these cards. I don't have anything I want. I don't have anything I want to side in. I'm already in 2 colors. I'm already like struggling to put in some cards I don't want. So,
Yeah, week one.
but
Yeah, week one. I don't sideboard basically unless I have some disenchant effect that I want to bring in. But yeah,
with
but
five
here they
packs,
got lots of
it
stuff.
might be.
Yeah. All right. So interesting hand for Caleb here. What's Miguel got?
Miguel's got another pretty fast hand.
All right.
Got the 10th District Legionnaire again.
All right. And what else is going on there?
See, he's got Ardenvale Tactician. He's got lands. Um,
All right.
I've had I've been thinking about like the tapping my own creature like after it's attacking so many times, but it hasn't come up yet. But
It
I'm
feels like
sure
if
it'll
you're in a
come up.
position to do that, man, like I feel like if I'm in a position to do that, I'm probably just winning the game anyway.
Yeah, but
So
if you're tapping, if you're only tapping one creature, then maybe you have a spare tap, right?
yeah, it could be
For your own guy.
pretty nice hand here. Well, I mean, if at the time you're doing that, your opponent only has one creature untapped, you're probably
Yeah.
gonna win anyway. That's
Mm-hmm.
that's my thoughts on that.
Yeah.
But I think I've had an opponent do it, but I haven't done it yet. Pretty nice hand for Caleb here. He has Fable of the Mirror Breaker. He has Eliminate, which kills a creature of 3 mana or less. He has Zulaport Cutthroat and Lazatep Reaver and a couple lands. So he's just going to be able to deploy his cards in a pretty coherent fashion here.
Yeah. Miguel's got a Heartfire, but I don't think he wants to play it now.
No, you have to sack something for that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's also got the Sajiri Shelter, the
Nice.
protection land thing. Oh yeah.
Okay, so he is doing the aforementioned play here. I mean, I think it's worth it in this opportunity just because he gets the scry. Like that probably
Yeah.
alone is worth it.
But I guess the question was it better to just play it as just the 2/3 flyer and just ignore the fact that I mean, you want to hold up the shelter, but so
Yeah, he just wanted to leave up his
yeah.
options, I think. But I think he's probably clocked that Caleb has come presenting a much different deck here.
You do reprisal, which I don't know if it's gonna come up. I don't know his hand, but could be useful.
Yeah, nothing right. Well, he has a God Eternal Bontu that he just drew, but you don't really want to point removal spells at that because it just works
Yeah.
its way back. All right, so let's see how many cards he wants to draw here. Yeah, this Mentor of the Meek not being answered here. It's going to be big, big trouble.
And maybe should have just hard fired it, but well,
Yeah, I mean,
now it's now it's happening.
it feels wrong, but
Yeah.
sometimes like, and now it just feels bad because he's already drawn like a couple cards out of
Yeah.
it. So now you really don't want to. But yeah,
Just kind of just not a good situation.
yeah, Mentor of
This
the Meek is like
this
one of those cards like it dies to anything. Like it's a 3 mana 2/2. It just dies to essentially every removal spell that you might have. But when you get to untap with it and actually start making some progress with it, it really really can take over the game. Caleb's just saying, I'm going to preserve my life totally here. I got lots of stuff going. I got an eliminate in hand in case you have a trick.
and this is a trick, but not a part- even a particularly
Yeah,
exciting
so he can
trick.
eliminate the Phalanx leader here, unless there's another Sajiri shelter.
I mean, did he need to? I guess. Like, if thinking if you want to just eliminate the other one, but
Well, he wants to get like a 2 for 1 here, and
yeah,
now here's exactly where you want the Heartfire. Like this is the exact situation
yeah,
that you envision when you put Heartfire in your deck. My opponent throws a removal spell at my guy, sack it. Unfortunately, it doesn't always play out like that, but here, it did. Here comes the Fable of the Mirror Breaker, and I assume the Prison Realm is coming, and Miguel's gonna have a tough time getting out of this unless he has a board wipe of some kind.
yeah. No, he's just got a Johnny's Pride mate.
Yeah, Johnny's Pride Mate is not gonna do the trick here. So yeah, look, this is why Caleb has made top eight so many times. This is why he wins a lot because he came presenting, a bit of a wacky 5 color, play all your most powerful cards deck, and he realized against Boros that ain't working, and he immediately sideboarded into this sleeker deck here.
Yeah, this deck seems much more effective against what Miguel has here.
Yeah, so he's gonna get rid of this War Oracle here. He's gonna go get a lesson, and he's going to attack his opponent down to 2 life.
Yeah. There's the time level. It can't be cast, and also wouldn't do anything if it. Yeah, it would do
No,
something, but it wouldn't do enough.
I don't think it would keep him alive, but yeah. So Caleb adjusting after game one and saying, this is what I want to play, especially against this deck. I think it matches up well, and he hit the ground running and never let up this game. Miguel never really got much of anything going. I mean, I think his like he put in very specific types of cards. Like a card I see that you don't normally want is like Return Centaur that he brought in 2 of, like 4 mana 2/4 target player mills for when it comes in. Like most of the time,
Oh.
you'd rather play Read the Bones or Toll of the Invasion. Uh, and here Caleb's like, nah, those cards don't are too slow for 3 mana. I just need a body here. And just as I say it, he takes out the 2/4s. But I was trying to sing their praises. Um, he
Does
brought
he
in
have anything
he brought in
to do
two
with them?
he brought in
Oh,
two
yeah, sorry.
bile blights. He may have just overlooked those at the beginning because I think he would always want those.
Oh, yeah.
He may have just while bringing in all all of these cards, he may have overlooked the bile blights.
Yeah, Miguel chose not to side again,
Nope.
but he had some cards that interested me in his sideboard. He had a Witch's Mark. He had, but for instance, but guess
Yeah,
he felt like he didn't
yeah.
need
I
them.
feel like that one's been like a very high performer in the heroic decks. I see a pretty, yeah, could not keep that hand.
Morgan the 5-lander and then kept this, which seems this is not the most exciting hand though. You probably don't want to multi-5. It's got a hot fire, a time raveler, which in no island, and the 5-drop double strike prowess. So nothing to really play. You
He's
just
got
gotta hope for something.
sounds like he's got absolutely nothing to cast.
Yeah, but
Okay,
I guess he didn't want to. He didn't want to. He didn't want to multi-5. I guess. So he's just
feel like
hoping that something shows up. I guess.
feel like him being the aggro deck, you probably have to mulligan that.
Yeah.
But he did get bailed out a bit here, right? Drawing the 2-drop.
Photos. It's not that bailed out of it. 'Cause now he still doesn't have anything to do. He do a security shelter,
Yeah, so
which
Caleb's
is
got a Pilgrim Eye, which he's
something,
about to
but
play. He's got Nantuko Husk, Bleeding Edge, Intercessor's Arrest, and the Plains and the Blood Baron that we saw in that first game.
okay.
All right. Well, Island off the top, we take those. Yeah, so this is a bit of a messy keep, seems to be working out more or less. Now Caleb's faced with a bit of an issue here. See, he can bleeding like he's. Oh, wait a minute. I think he's taking a read at Intercessor's Arrest, which has unusual wording in that uh, it can enchant any. It's basically like a pacifism, but also they can't attack, block, or activate abilities, but it can enchant any permanent. So you can actually slap that on that planeswalker.
Yeah, it'll still have its sorcery thing
Yeah,
for the rest of the game,
but he
but
doesn't have any instants in hand, so
yeah,
I believe Heartfire can sacrifice planeswalkers. So
yeah.
he does have something to feed to the Heartfire, but yeah, I think both players are kind of pretty okay with this. Like Caleb had to spend his whole turn doing that, and he actually attacked the Teferi before reading the Intercessor's Arrest and deciding he wanted
Oh
to use it.
yeah.
Okay, so Caleb can. Okay, he's gonna go for Bleeding Edge here, which is this amass 2, something gets -2/-2. So very very strong card.
Still
So
attacking it. I guess he
he's
just
still
wants to.
attacking. He wants to peck away at Teferi. He says, "I want the option of casting instants, even if I don't have any."
Yeah, he figures like it's like giving his opponent like 5 life. It doesn't matter that much.
Okay, that's a potentially scary card. And right off the top, he's drawn a Prison Realm. So yeah, nice, very nice draw to get rid of that scary looking threat. He can now just kill the Teferi,
Oh yeah.
and this,
Maybe,
without knowing it, he actually made the Heartfire like very bad now.
I mean, maybe he was thinking about it, right? He
like
knows about the hot fire.
like if he knew opponent had Heartfire in hand, Caleb would be like fist pumping, super happy about all this. This is a pretty safe block, honestly.
Yeah, he's got a trick, but it's just all of that you can just sack creatures, so it's
Yeah,
not
Nantuko can just sack stuff.
sack two. I guess you can hot fire in response to the second sack.
Yeah, so he's sacking one, and so basically we can just clear the board here, which works out for Caleb because he's got a Blood Baron to cast next turn.
Okay.
So
Well, he didn't hot fire. Well, I guess. Well,
huh. I, okay, I he may have wanted to kill the Nantuko Husk, but he
he
had
also might have
to.
just like
Yeah,
I'm imagining myself. I would just click through and be like, wait, I missed my chance.
yeah,
Like
so
it could
many
happen.
triggers. Yeah, yeah, I think he was probably wanting to kill the Nantuko Husk. I'm not sure that Nantuko Husk being on board is going to have a gigantic impact on the rest of this game, but it might. Now with this, yeah, Caleb's just going to play two more things, and Miguel's going to have a rough time here.
Yeah, it's just a land in hand for Miguel, so.
So yeah, like a very, very slow hand that he kept, trying to be the aggro deck, but keeping a very slow hand. Unfortunate for him. Didn't quite get what he needed. Yeah, so Caleb's gonna do some attacks here. I mean, yeah. So Caleb can make a token, sack it. Yeah.
I don't think there's
Yeah, so
anything.
Caleb has another creature in hand, but he said, I'll just hold it for now. Opponent might have a board wipe. I want to be able to have something just in case. And congratulations to Caleb, once again showing why he is our most winningest
GG.
feature match player. So
Games.
Yeah, I gotta
congratulations to
stop
Caleb.
signing up